The Harvest Your Independence Tour is brought to you by Wyffels Hybrids. At Wyffels, we've made a choice to remain independent, a choice to remain farm family owned, a choice to stay American. So when it's time to make your choice, make a statement. Plant your independence. Plant Wyffels.
Without any harvest progress numbers out of USDA due to the government shutdown right now, there's no national glance at harvest progress this year. But as we continue our Wyffels Harvest Your Independence Tour this weekend, it's a double dose of harvest reports. Clinton Griffiths first takes us to Wisconsin, where despite a few challenges this growing season, harvest was rolling at a pretty decent pace. But then Michelle Rook travels to what just may be the garden spot for growing crops this year.
Harvest is going fast. We got beans done in about a week.
A quick cut following a challenging finish, set in motion by an 11 to 13 inch rain in early August.
The biggest spot we noticed was in soybeans. It brought in disease. Even though we had treated it, it really killed our yield. It's still a respectable yield, but not what we were expecting going into it.
Casey credits a timely fungicide application to preserving the crop, given the challenges of disease throughout the Corn Belt.
A lot of places worried about disease in their corn this year. How did you fare?
If you walk and look at it, we have tar spot. Iowa and southwest Wisconsin got hit with southern rust pretty bad. We had a little bit. We delayed because it didn't come in till late.
As the combines roll into corn this week.
This farm, for instance, we had to pump water off because the water's standing. It was as high as the ears in some spots, but we got it off fast enough that it didn't take the crop down.
The yield results are respectable.
I think it'll be just a touch better than last year. Test weight's probably the same to a little better as last year.
The biggest challenge has been back at the bin, deciding what needs to go through the dryer.
Some of it comes in where it's still wet, but it's too dry to run through the dryer, so we kind of blend it in with some drier corn into the bin.
It's all part of the harvest process as this Wisconsin team hustles toward the finish line.
As you start to think about next year in the future, what's top of your list?
Right now, input prices. There's a lot of stuff on the tariffs, and I'm hoping that'll shake out. We're going to cut back this year just because of the prices. I mean, you gotta be able to try to turn a profit and not put it all into the ground.
The unknowns of the future, as this season's performance is today's reality.
Southern Minnesota was the garden spot of the Corn Belt this growing season, and as a result, many farmers here saw above average yields, including Mike Madsen of Huron Lake.
We've seen things we've never seen on yield monitors before.
This fall, Mike Madsen is having the corn harvest of a lifetime.
It'll be our best year in my career, and I think in a lot of local farmers' careers that have been farming for 30 to 40 years.
He says it began this spring with one of the fastest planting seasons ever on his farm.
It was early and it was quick, so that's how this yield thing started, was with our early planting, especially in the corn.
That led to a perfect stand, followed by a nearly ideal growing season agronomically.
We only dream of seasons like this where you get a shot of rain every 4 to 5 days, and that pretty much held through from planting through corn pollination.
Madsen says the corn also escaped the hot nighttime temperatures during pollination and fill that hurt test weights and yields in other areas of the Corn Belt.
Our nighttime temperatures is what I think brings on a lot of this yield, that we were under that 70-degree mark all but a couple nights in August.
So you attribute some of these big yields not only to the growing season, but the fact that you were able to escape disease pressure.
We did, and there still are some fields that did not get sprayed with fungicide, and depending on the timing of that, the early sprayed corn with the fungicide seems to be maybe a 10 to 30 bushel increase. If you sprayed later on, is even a better return. So there's been some talk of a 30 to a 70 bushel increase from spraying fungicide this year.
And so Madsen's corn yields at harvest are 20 to 30 bushels over his APH, with even the maturities 100 day and under exceeding expectations.
It was running 220 to 240, and as we get into harvest more, now we're into our later corn, which is anywhere from 100 to even up to 110 day now. We're 250 plus.
So this is a record corn crop for you.
Yes, it is. This is a record corn crop for us in 2025.
The soybean harvest was done October 9th, and Madsen says his crop missed key August rains and saw early disease pressure.
White mold ended up probably hurting us more than the sudden death did in the beans.
So while bean yields were well above average in his area, they were disappointing on his farm.
Around 60, and we were a little bit under that, so it wasn't a total train wreck. Way better than last year.
Thanks to both Michelle and Clinton for wrapping up our harvest tour this year. Definitely a mix of yields as we've seen over the reports these past couple months. Well, what did we learn about building yield in 2025? Key lessons from the field with David Hula next.